Today I'll be talking to you about The Godfather, regarded as one of the best crime movies of all time. Just as a disclaimer to begin with, I do have a link to this audio. It's instilled on slide number 2. If it does not work, do not worry. You can continue and read through it, for the content will be the same, although you might miss a few pieces because I will be talking some things from my opinion and other things that aren't necessarily on the bullet points. So thank you, and I hope you enjoy. So to begin with, the summary of The Godfather. So, like I mentioned, The Godfather is an American crime film that features the Corleone family, an Italian crime family that is led by the infamous Vito Don Corleone, or better known as he is the Godfather. Throughout the film, viewers are exposed to violent and gruesome actions that the family commits, but also the importance of family through the struggles. So Don Vito Corleone is a very family-oriented man and puts his family first before his business. And within within the business, he is the leader. Then he has his sons, he has his hitmen, he has the family consultant Tom Hagen, but then he has his younger son Michael, who really doesn't want to be a part of the crime business. He's a World War II vet, and he brought home his girlfriend Kay to introduce to the family, who he intends on marrying. Now, throughout the movie, a lot of issues spring up, people die, and I don't really want to give out too many spoilers, but all I can tell you is that it's a very, very good movie, and you'll see why when you watch it and why it's regarded as one of the best crime movies of all time. So kind of going into the Corleone family, so to start with, we're going to talk about their toughness. So the Corleone family is one of 5 most powerful Italian mafia families within the city of New York. Vito Don Corleone uses brutal force and means of hitmen to get what he wants or help fulfill the requests of his godchildren. So an example from the movie is when his godson Johnny is asking him to instill that he gets a part in a movie that he wants. So he sends Tom Hagen to go and talk to the movie director, but when he refuses, he wakes up in a pile of blood where the head of his prize stallion is sitting. So as you can see, that's a violent action to get what he wants, and in the end, Johnny got the part, and by the means of the brutal force, as you can see, like that again, like I said, that's one of the means that they use to get what they want. After Don passed away, Michael becomes in charge of the crime family, and like his father, Vito, he is also very violent and aggressive when things don't go as planned. So Michael confronts Carlo about being very aggressive towards Connie and abusing her and abusing his sister, so he orders him to be assassinated. In addition to this, when Michael finds out that Geeky is more loyal to another family than his own, he makes sure that he gets killed and things like that. So a big thing with the Corleone family is loyalty, and if you're loyal, you're safe. If you betray or loyal, well, the penalty is probably going to be death. Like I said, both Don and Michael use similar means necessary in order to get what they want. When Don Corleone is gunned down in a New York marketplace, this demonstrates weakness within the family as the older brother Sonny takes over, and he's not really he's familiar with the business, but he's not really much of a leader because he's more of the aggressive and the abuser. I would say he's more of the rougher kind of. He wants to take the action. He wants to commit the kind of more violent actions. The Corleone family has many connections to help aid in their work. Keynote: don't ever say no to the Corleone family. And as I have a picture down here, that's Luca Brazzi, and he is the head enforcer of the family. And unfortunately, he gets killed and choked out when he goes to talk and spy on the Salazzo and the Tattaglia family. So, trouble. The Corleone family is in trouble when Vito and Sonny are gunned down, leaving Michael, who wants no part in the family business, to take over. They participate in murders and criminal actions to get what they want. By refusing the deal with Virgil Salazzo, backed by the Tattaglia family, this puts the family in grave danger, for many high-level people within the Corleone family will be killed. The mob members take part in illegal gambling, as they own casinos within Las Vegas and other high-populated areas. Michael is put at risk when Salazzo tries on numerous occasions to kill him and anyone who has the power within the family. And Tom Hagen is in tough water when Salazzo kidnaps him and tells him to convince Sonny, the head at the time when Don's in the hospital, to agree to his narcotics deal, which ultimately it's with Don revisits his opposition towards it and promises when Sonny gets killed that he wouldn't attack anybody. So, or take a vengeance of his death. So he does agree to it only to save no more of his family members from being lost. Intelligence. So Don Corleone was wise in not accepting the deal with Sollozzo, for he saw a risk with political connections and the wariness of the involvement with the dangerous trade of narcotics. Michael orders the head of each family murdered and killed to end the underground crime war. By murdering Sollozzo, Michael may have started the crime war among the 5 families, but he also took down a threat to each of the families, but most importantly his own, for Sollozzo had a lot of people killed within his family. And by going to Italy, Michael was able to get his thoughts together and stay hidden to protect himself and anyone else that was going to get hurt. Although, tragically, his Sicilian wife that he marries gets blown up in a car that was rigged with a bomb that was supposed to be for him. In the end, Don assures that the families that he would withdraw his operation, would go to the narcotics business, and promise not to avenge his son who was murdered, which was Sonny. And by dropping Tom Hagen, they were able to save him and allow him to not partake in the upcoming battles with the families, because Tom is a valuable asset and they cannot have him killed, for he does a lot of the talking, consulting, and he's almost essentially like a peacekeeper, and he's like the first person that goes in to talk instead of just going violent right away. And the control. So they own casinos and hotels, as I mentioned before, in Las Vegas. They have political connections, police connections, one of the 5 most powerful families within New York City, which just tells you right there how powerful they are. They're feared in using their tactics, and they can get whatever they want. They have a small portion of the narcotics business with its Italian family, for the Don withdrew the opposition of the idea. And by killing the leaders of the families, the Corleone family is able to reign supreme, although another crime war was destined to start amongst the families and spark it. And that all started with Michael killing Sollozzo. And so, by the hierarchy, Don Corleone is the Godfather until he dies due to a heart attack. And then Sonny takes over while while Don's in the hospital before he dies. So he's the firstborn son, so he's destined to take over next. Tom Hagen is the family consultant, and he's the first person to talk things out. As I mentioned before, he was the person who talked to the movie director to give Johnny the part in the movie that he wanted to be in. The hitman and goons, so like Luca Brasi is the enforcing goon, and then they have other goons that partake in the killings or any other shooting or any other thing that has to get done in order to get what they want for the business side of things. And then Michael, who's the youngest son, but ends up becoming the leader once Sonny and his dad dies. And although Michael wanted nothing to do with the business, he had to overcome some adversity and really process and become that family man that they were missing in Don. The criminal activity that the family takes place in is the drugs with the Italians. They commit murders, assassinations, killing of other people's property. And what I mean by that is, for example, like the horse from that one scene, and the illegal gambling in the Vegas casinos and any other underground thing that they own. Power and influence. So they gained power by killing the heads of the families. Deaths of Don and Sonny increased Michael's power to carry on the tradition of the Corleone business. Buying stake and owning the casinos in Las Vegas, so they're just gaining more money and more powerful. The connections with the political parties, the police, so they can get them off their back and help them in the political aspect of things. And then Tom Hagen's negotiation skills, although some kind of led to deaths of important characters, he has really just been a strong influence in helping to try to essentially be the peacekeeper in the long dreaded crime war. And they use fear and other tactics to get what they want. My personal opinion of the movie, I really, really enjoyed it. It gave a great representation of what the mob life is really like. I really enjoyed the drama and suspense in addition to the soundtrack. The camera work is excellent in addition to the lighting, for as you notice, Michael's face becomes darker to show how he's committing criminal actions, becomes more evil, and his purity is kind of going away, and that's just kind of how I interpreted that. Overall, I thought the movie was brilliant, and it was a 10 out of 10 for me. So, and here are my sources. These are just from the pictures and also a video that I've included on the third slide, which just gives you kind of a summary of the movie of more in depth. I will tell you that there is some spoilers in there, but thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed and understanding why a little bit more about The Godfather and why I really enjoyed it and why it is known as one of the best crime movies of all time.